It was during the pandemic. My father passed away in September of 2019. I was still mourning the loss of my dad. I came back to NewStory. I was gone for about, I think, 7 years. But one of the first things I did was doing volunteering for food pantry. It was kind of like God was restoring me through food pantry, through serving, because it wasn't about me and it wasn't about anything that I need to satisfy for myself.
Around the time that Steve came back to church, actually I was gonna leave the church because it's been many years since I came to like Youngnak or NewStory, and I think at that time I was looking for some change. And also I was looking for a future husband. So I shared that with the teachers, the children's ministry teachers. So I told them one day at the Zoom meeting, I shared that I'm gonna leave this church by the end of this month. I wanna find my husband. And at that time, one of the teachers is Elder Joe. And he made a joke like, let me find your husband so you can stay with us. 1 week after that meeting, actually Serena, so Elder Joe's wife, contacted me and asked, we know somebody and wondering if you are open to meet him. That was how it started. So after we met, we dated for 3 months and then we got married. We wanted to have a wedding as soon as possible so we can go to see my father. But he lived in Korea and I wanted to take Steve to Korea to see my dad. And after we met him, 3 months after that, he passed away. Around that time, we found out that we had a miscarriage for our first baby.
Because we got married at a later age, we knew we didn't have a lot of time. The longer we delay, the window is closing. And then after we returned from our trip in Korea, we thought about, we'll try again. Janice got pregnant again. But then we had a second miscarriage. You know, I think after the second miscarriage, we were really questioning, you know, maybe this is not what God wants.
I was questioning and angry, and why again losing somebody? I already lost my father. I already have enough experience losing somebody, I think. And why again taking this baby away from me?
You know, at that time I wasn't thinking this is a timing thing. I thought it was like, maybe God just doesn't want us to have a baby. So I think that kind of things went through our mind. We try to see it in God's perspective. What was the purpose of this happening at this time in our lives for that to happen? And I think because of that, and because of so much love and support and prayer from our family, our friends, you know, our small group, I think it was a much easier and better transition for us to recover from that. So on this third time, with the medication, we had 7 weeks, and then she was still okay. Every week after that, every time after that, the hopefulness was like outweighing more of the doubt as we were going.
So in the delivery room, as soon as the baby out, and I heard him crying, I cried so hard. Even the doctors asked me, are you okay? Is this a happy crying, or why are you crying so hard? But in my mind, like 2 miscarriages came back and all like memories came back. So we all like crying together in the delivery room as like happy crying and emotional crying. So we were all like, Leo is crying, I'm crying, Steve crying, everybody was crying.
Finally, our son is here. So it was like tears of joy and gratefulness. It was not just contentment, it was like just pure joy and happiness, knowing this is actually my son. I think after getting married and after our first year of our marriage, going through some of the miscarriage and things like that, I have so much more trust in God and more dependency upon God than I did before. I hope he becomes a really faithful man of God. I'm hoping that I can help guide him and lead him in a godly life, godly lifestyle. And I hope it doesn't take him as long as I did to really understand God's love.